Want anything else? Okay.
I got so many papers here.
Sting site, Roxall.
Did everybody sign? Did you sign, Mayor?
Yes, I did sign.
Okay. Yeah, we're on.
Oh, okay.
Yep, right on the dot.
Atlantic, East Atlantic.
Yeah, there's two right back out there. You tell those two we're ready to get started. Yeah. I was thinking, when you put a bid on something, hit the bid. Call the meeting to order. Everybody please rise for a flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember DePamphlis,
Here.
Councilmember Dill,
Here.
Councilmember Garrity,
Here.
Councilmember Johnston. Here. Councilmember McGuigan,
Here.
Councilmember Owen,
Here.
Council President Habercorn.
Present. Also present, Mayor Tapp, Administrator Frost, City Clerk Heath, City Solicitor Smith, and City Engineer Snyder. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. The agenda for this meeting is posted in City Hall and on the city's website at summerspointgov.org. I have a request, a 48-hour waiver to add resolutions number 61 and 62 to the agenda, and this is due to the grant application that we're looking at there being due on the 5th of February, which is prior to our next council meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any comments?
No.
If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, none opposed, so we have the waiver. We're going to have a first presentation tonight is the unveiling of Mayor Jack Glasser's memorial portrait, and I'm going to turn that over to the mayor. Say
Great.
A few words.
If you would come up with me.
Sure.
I don't need a mic because I'm loud enough. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to stand before you this evening as we gather to celebrate the legacy of former Mayor John L. Glasser, who gave 17 years to Summers Point's community in countless ways. Tonight, we unveil his portrait whose leadership, vision, and dedication have left an indelible mark. Jack Glasser worked tirelessly to improve our neighborhoods, support our families, and build a brighter future for all. This portrait is more than just an image. It's a symbol of the values and accomplishments that continue to inspire us today. On behalf of the entire city of Summers Point, we want to express our deepest gratitude to Jack Glasser for his service and commitment. This portrait will serve as a reminder of a positive impact that one person can have on the entire city. Let us all continue to honor his legacy by working together to build an even better future for generations to come. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, I appreciate this honor. Mayor Tapp, full council, Shelby, and everybody. Jason. You humble me with this. You know, it's so much, at least my grandchildren come up and say, well, our pop's picture is in City Hall instead of the post office. So, I just want to thank everybody that had anything to do with this. I would have been really happy just to leave it up on the wall and put the other other thing, as I look around this room, there are so many people that have served this community. They have so many years, and especially the diets, because when you start counting numbers, you get close to 200. But I just wish that someday we could honor everybody that serves the community, from our elected officials to our career employees, to, of course, our boards, our fire department, our police department. It just would be nice to have a whole room where we can put all their names in, and they serve so much point. I know you're honoring the Board of Education, honoring the board. I think everybody, who steps up for a community should have some type of place that they can go to that says that they were they served. So, okay, thank you very much. I've never been long winded. I'm getting on to my cutoff time. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your great job.
All right.
I'd like to open it up to the governing body. If anybody would like to share any comments about Jack, please feel free to do so now.
Sure thing, Mr. Mayor, or Mr.
Mayor.
Mr. Council President.
Go right ahead.
Mayor Glasser, you know, we were in here together for 16 years, and you weren't here this last year and change, and it really wasn't the same. Mayor Tapp certainly filled in nicely, but it just wasn't the same. And now that we have that picture of you up there, I'll look towards it every time I come in here and think of the good times and the great stuff that you did for us. Thank you.
Anybody else like that?
Yeah, I would just like to say, I had the honor of sitting next to you for my first 5 years up here, and I appreciate all your advice and all of your input, and it looks like you have plenty to keep you busy in your retirement from politics, so God bless you.
Jack, congratulations, well-deserved honor. I'm glad I got a chance to work with you your final few years, but we've been friends for all 17 of them, and it's been a pleasure knowing you and pleasure working for you, and thank you for your service to the city of Summers Point.
Council President, I'd like to
Yes,
speak.
go ahead.
I'd like to go on and say thank you, Mayor Jack. Of course, you always be our mayor. Seems like you set the tone really high for everybody else to jump through. It seems like you passed 3 decades, I like to say, but with all greatness, and also appreciate your service as being a veteran, and also appreciate your service being a policeman, as well as being a great family man and now grandfather. Thank you.
Jack? Yeah, all right, yeah. Jack, 15 years we sat alongside of each other, and it was a joy for me to be able to sit here with you and work towards the things that the city really needed, and you were a very big part of that, and I appreciate everything you've done for the city.
Mr. President, I'm here in 15 years, 17 years, seems like a long time. How about 55 years? I've known Jack since I was 12 years old. We were co-workers, we were schoolmates. He was my grade school basketball coach when he was 8th grade and I was in 5th grade. My homeroom moderator at Holy Spirit freshman year. Worked on my first campaign right out of high school with Jack. Walked the streets, knocked on doors, learned this business and everything. We worked together. I saw him leave for the Air Force. Came back, get involved in the community. A lot of organizations that he was involved in and everything. And it's been a ride and it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your service, Jack.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor Glasser, for all you've done. I've only known you for a few years, but you're a great example for Summers Point. Thank you.
Just one last thing, even though I gave that little speech there,
Took me forever to write that, to get it right, you know. Thank you very much. But I think that there's one more person that we need to thank, and that would be Diane.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You know, I mean, we sit up here, we all know the toll that being elected and trying to help govern a city takes on the family. I know Cheryl knows it. And listen, I know Margie knows it, and I think everyone here knows it. But with that, you know, listen, thank you. You know, you gave up. Yeah. You gave up 17 years of tranquility to allow Jack to help mold this city and keep us on the straight and narrow, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
And we know who the next politician's gonna be.
That kid right there. All right, we're going to move on to, Mr. Snyder's going to talk about Green Acres grant applications that we have going on, so. Sure. Greg, I'll turn it over to you.
So, the city is considering applying for 2 grants through Green Acres. They're both for recreation. The first is at JFK Park for playground equipment. The other one is for improvements to the bike path from Groveland Avenue North. That's the only portion that qualifies for the grant because it goes by census block, and that's the part that qualifies for that grant. So as part of the requirements, the city has to discuss the proposed concept plans and then have a public hearing for anybody that would like to comment on the plan. So the first one we could go over is JFK Park. The plan is up here, and as members of city council should have a smaller version. It's a fairly simple plan. The concept is to replace the existing playground equipment, which you can see in the hatched area, with new, it's all-inclusive playground equipment. It's called Jake's Law, so it's for, you know, all kids, even, you know, kids that have special needs. So it's definitely something that's a good cause, and that the playground equipment's fairly outdated, so the steering committee identified this area as a good place for it. There is also a proposed ADA walkway from the playground equipment to the existing restrooms, which is required under the grant. I did want to go over, there's some things we need to discuss as part of the hearing also. We need to discuss, there's a environmental impact assessment that needs to be done. Now, this is fairly simple also because it's already a developed area with existing playgrounds, so replacing what's already there. So to take an effect, there's no really any environmental, you know, vegetation or wetlands that are be affected for this. So that's fairly simple. No permits would be required. You do have to take a look at any alternative sites. We did look at alternative sites. Obviously, with existing playground equipment, this makes the most sense. There's a bunch of other stuff that doesn't apply, like short-term affected resources and significance of each impact to wildlife and stuff like that. Again, this is all developed, so it should be, you know, a fairly simple one-page document about the environmental impacts. Have to discuss short-term and long-term project impacts. The only project impact is when we're replacing the equipment. Obviously, the playground won't be in use for that short time. But that's pretty much it. You also have a copy of the cost estimate for the equipment. Most of it was provided by Game Time Playground Equipment. They're the ones that do this type of playground equipment regularly and helped us, you know, design something within the city's budget. The grant is a 75% grant, with the city would have to cover 25%. So that's pretty much it for discussion of this project. I don't know if any city council members have any questions. And then after I discuss the next project, then we'll go open to the public.
Meeting, okay. Any comments for Mr. Snyder?
I just have, the split rail fence that's on here, is that just around the playground, or how does that,
It is just around the playground. One of the requirements is that you have to have some kind of delineation, so.
around the
kids
whole
can't-
playground?
Yeah.
Okay. And when we first met with this designer, there weren't a lot of as far as site work, there was only like one tree coming down and
Yeah, we don't even
moving
have
one.
any of that one trees.
Yeah.
Nothing has to be removed now.
Okay, great.
Any other council members have any comments? Not hearing any. Mr. Snyder, if you want to go to the bike path, that's fine.
Sure. The next project is proposed bike path improvements. This is also a Green Acres grant. Now, I did want to make sure everybody on city council is aware, this grant is only 25%. So the city would be responsible for 75. That's, originally, when we looked at this, I saw your face, Dennis, it was supposed to be 100, but.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So, obviously, the city council has to decide if this grant's worth it. Obviously, 25% is better than nothing, but we get a lot more better grants than that. But I did talk to Jim Rotella, and he does believe that we could leverage other grants if we did get this. I mean, the things on the bike path that we're proposing are improvements, mostly for the rail stations. Those are, fairly outdated and need some updating, and the wood's starting to rot, so we would replace them. We would also add interpretive signs because all along the old bike path, the rail stations, there was old, names for the towns and where they came from, so it'd be historic markers for that type of thing. We'd also do some landscaping, add some more trees, and remove the invasive trees, especially near Ocean Avenue, between Ocean Heights. There's a lot of trees that are invasive, like I forget the name of the tree, the tree of heaven that the lanternflies love. So that'd be part of this project. And then there'd be some proposed exercise stations. So people that run along the bike path, could use that to periodically stop and do different exercises. So that's the majority for that project. Again, I have to go over the environmental impact analysis. Again, this site's already cleared, so there's no real environmental impact. There's no wetlands. There's no permits required. The only clearing would be the invasive tree species, which the DP is happy to get rid of those and plant something more native. Short-term and long-term impacts. This would all be on the side of the bike path, so it wouldn't affect the bike path during construction. So there'd be no impact to the bike path itself during construction. And identifying alternative sites for the project area. This is the only park area that this grant could apply to. So let me just make sure I put this concept up too. And if anybody from City Council has questions.
Any questions?
Mr.
Yeah.
President,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
So as far as the time frame to do this list of work, is there a specific time frame we have to get this done under, or?
It'd be 2 years once the grant's awarded, but they'd probably take 6 to 9 months to announce grants.
Okay, so my thought is, or my question is, so we would have time to apply for other grants?
Yes.
To make up the difference?
It is part of the neighborhood
NRTC,
yeah,
right.
area, so that would apply, and there's grants for that.
So during that discussion on that grant, there was a meeting last night or night before, and this topic has been brought up, or this idea has been brought up before, facilitating more parking around the school area. And just looking at this again, could we put parking on the west side of Atlantic Avenue on that school block between Dawson and Pierce Street?
We can, and I mean, you have to tie it to the bike path, so if we'd have to justify that.
Well,
people
we
are
could say
using-
it was dedicated parking for people to use the bike path. I'm just saying that's been an ongoing concern since the schools redistrict their plan, so.
I mean, if the city council wants to look at that, we could definitely, we could make that fit into part of the grant.
I mean, off the top of your head, what would the budget number be?
I think last time I looked, it was around 150,000.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it's a big chunk of this money.
thank you.
Mr. Snyder, if we apply for the grant and we get the grant and we decide not to use it, is there any penalty for doing that?
There's no penalty. You could decide later not to take it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mike?
And you said part of that grant would be remove some of the invasive trees and
Yeah.
replace them with...
Between Ocean Avenue and Ocean Heights, where there's a lot
Right.
of trees there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I looked it up. One of the invasives, black walnut trees besides a few of the maples. Thanks.
Anything else for Mr. Snyder? If not, we will open it up to the public for comments as it relates to the Green Acre grant applications only. Please state your name. You can come forward.
What's up, guys? Rob Hopkins, 123 East Myron. I wanted to echo Mr. McGuigan's need about the parking over there. It's an issue at Dawes Avenue. I wanted to thank Mr. Snyder for his work on this whole thing and getting it done. Your effort of the 48-hour getting it through. This is a huge thing. It's not just a playground for kids. It's for grandparents, parents, all kinds of kids. Really, really nice. I encourage you guys all to look at that, jakesplace.com. They just did a wonderful presentation at Stone Harbor City Council on Monday or Tuesday night? Monday night. I have it recorded. I could send it to anybody. Really good information. They give up to $1 million to municipalities now, 75%. I just wanted to voice my support for it and thank you guys for getting it done.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Thanks.
Good evening. John Helbig, 106 East Dawes Avenue. Again, I'd just like to voice my support for both of these grant applications. As Rob indicated, I think a playground of this type would be a great advantage, a great amenity for our community, to have something like that at JFK Park. Again, in terms of the bike path clearly is I think, our most significant recreation amenity in our city, used by people of all ages, walkers, runners, dog walkers. We all know this. So anything we can do to enhance that and tying it to another grant where we can get hopefully some other city or state or federal money to help pay for that would be great. But clearly, as a resident and as a chairman of our Environmental Commission, I'm in support of both of these. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more public comments? If not, we'll close the public comments. And thank you, Mr. Schneider, for what you've done with this work. There's also a piece like this that's up at the stand.
There's a public survey.
Yep, there's
Search
a
QR code.
QR code down in the bottom. Scan that, it takes you to surveys. You can answer the surveys. It's relatively easy. And Mr. Schneider, if I'm correct, we should get as many surveys
Yes.
answered as we can, because that helps us with the
Yeah.
grants, correct?
The more support, the better our application is.
So I need a motion to close public comments.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? We've closed public comments. All right, moving on the agenda. Does anyone have any communications they'd like to share? Not hearing any, we'll move over to Mayor Tapp for the mayor's report.
Actually, it could be communications. I only have a couple things. DOT, traffic advisory. We already know Route 9's closed. They've been only advertising it for about a month now. It's going to be closed for 2 months. It's going to be between Laurel Drive and Summers Point Mays Landing Road. And of course, with the DOT, they never thought to change the length of time for the arrow to be able to make a left off of Mays Landing Summers Point Road to get on the Parkway South. So between Greg Schneider and between Officer Jack Cemento, they finally got a hold of DOT. After I fielded about a dozen phone calls from very irate people waiting 20 minutes to try to get through that intersection. Now it looks like between 10 and 12 cars can get through. Actually got a phone call back from someone and says, you probably don't hear this too often, But thank you very much. You did a great job. We were able to get that. And I said, sure, it was all me, but it really was not. And that's what a mayor does, by the way. 16 years I saw him down when a kid. But because of Jack as well as Greg, they were able to do that. Also, we have another traffic advisory, one-lane closure. It's going to be sporadic, actually, either on the southbound or northbound on the bridge coming into Summers Point from Ocean City. Delta Line was awarded the contract. They're going to be underneath the bridge taking care of the accent lighting. I believe they got struck by lightning, and so they all need to be replaced. Delta Line I used to work for once upon a time in another world in life. Being under that bridge in the wintertime is terrible. So they're going to be freezing or what's off. It started on the 21st. It should be done by May. So I really think it's going to be minimal traffic impact, as far as us. So just traffic advisories, and that's all I have.
That's all you have. Mr. Frost, do you have anything for us?
No, this evening, the only thing I'll comment on is ordinance number 3 of 2025, which is an ordinance for the updating the construction code fees. This is pretty all-encompassing. We think we have everything in there, but it's possible that this may need to be amended between this first reading and the second reading in February.
All right. Okay, now, let's go to Mr. Smith.
I was going to comment on that. Stealing your thunder.
A little bit of work went into that, so if there really is anything, just we'll pick it up.
Okay. Mr. Snyder?
The only thing to add is, I did talk to the county engineer about Shore Road, to remind them about the potholes on between Route 52 and Summers. They do have Arawak paving. They have a contract with them. As soon as the weather breaks and the asphalt company is open, they're going to repave that portion of the road. The city also does have a couple contracts with Arawak paving, so I'm hoping if they're doing work in the city, they could just jump over there at the same time. So, I'll keep everybody updated when I have a date.
Okay. Thank you. Committee reports. Anybody have any committee reports?
Yeah, Council President, I have two. The first one is the Planning Board met this month and reorganized. Paul Strajewski is the chairman, Brian Cummings the vice chairman, Jane Meisker is the board secretary, Joel Fleischman is the solicitor, and Kateson Snyder is our engineers. There was a decision resolution approved for Bay and Maryland Avenue, and the DeFeo Plaza was rescheduled for February, along with the Salt House and Paddle Club hearings. And that is the Planning Board report. And we also had the Veterans Advisory Board meeting. Tom Anacenti is our chairman. Jack Lasser, always involved. Jack Lasser is the vice chairman. And we established May 26th as the Memorial Day Parade, and further information will be forthcoming in the future on that. Thank you.
Mr. Dill.
Mr. Chairman? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I attended the school board meeting, and it's actually one of my favorite ones to attend that time because it's when they give out the monthly Student of the Month awards. And it's always fun to see the kids and their faces, and all the parents are there with all their siblings, and it's a pretty positive, fun meeting, actually, so,
That is a nice meeting, isn't
yeah.
it? Mr. Garrity?
Yeah, concerning EDAC, I had a long conversation with the chairman, Chuck Westcott, and we were reviewing the ordinance for EDAC, and there was a couple things that were pointed out in that. One is, it's section F of the ordinance that says a member of Economic Development Advisory Committee organized and existing by virtue is a member of CRC TRC. But when you look at section D, it allows for a committee to request members such as EDAC members, Environmental Commission, things like that. What was pointed out to me is you have an advisory commission that's basically on a decisionary committee. So that, I think, my recommendation is to just drop section F, leave the rest of it alone. This still lets EDAC members attend the meeting, along with economic development members, and also, historic commission, environmental, whatever. So it's basically a paperwork glitch, and it was put in 2019. So it's kind of redundant on that. And the other thing that was brought up to me was members of the commission shall be residents or taxpayers of the city. I believe there's at least one person that isn't. And also an ex officio member is supposed to be from the banking institution or public utility. We don't have anybody from that line. We used to have John Davidson. I think we had Jane Alvarez at one time. So that's something that I think needs to be addressed. And we also, and maybe Rob can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's Thomas Bello has never attended a meeting and no one knows who he is, or I couldn't find him on the roster of owning property in Summers Point. So, and we reappointed
He
him.
lives on Village Drive.
Does he? Okay, yeah.
We have his resume. He lives on Village
Okay.
Drive.
I mean, does he want to take part? He didn't come. Or the other question was, did anybody ever inform him that he was a member of EDAC?
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
an ex officio member.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, does he work for a bank? Does he work for a public utility, or does he work for a governmental entity? Then he really shouldn't be in that position.
Okay. Well, we have his resume,
Yes,
so.
that's what those positions were for, specialized individuals who, beyond they're really just ex officio, table. So if he's not one of those, and Mr. Farrelly is obviously not one of those that I know, we should ask them to resign, and then see if we can appoint someone else.
I don't know that anyone asked Mr. Bello this year if he wanted to stay, so
We had his name on the reappointment.
I
So
didn't.
that might have just
Yeah.
been a holdover.
That's why
Yeah. Yeah, he was at the NRTC meeting last night. I didn't think to ask him because I was paying more attention to Jim Rotella's presentation. Well,
they are interested in wanting to come, they can still attend the meetings, just through the public.
yeah. Oh, and the other thing is the meetings are changed to Wednesday night. We're going to have them here. We'll have a lot to report at the next council meeting. We'll get through our first meeting, and then we'll have more to report on this. But the one thing in the ordinance, I think, should be cleared up. It doesn't have to be done immediately, but I think when we have time to fit it on the agenda.
See if everyone's okay with it,
Yeah.
I'll see if we can put it on the agenda. Next council meeting. We really don't have anything to do.
Oh, we'll do two of them then.
Watch yourself.
That's all right, I have another one under old business for you, too.
Mr. Smith, can you just reiterate what we would be removing again one more time, please?
Under section 114, 146, TRC, the attendees, it says the CRC and TRC shall consist of the following members, and it lists A, B, C, D, E, and then F, which was added in 2019, and I'm not sure exactly why that occurred in 2019, but it says member of the Economic Development Advisory Committee, organized and existing by virtue of, just talks about they're on the committee, and it's, Councilman Doherty is correct, it's a little unusual to have someone on an advisory committee sitting on a committee like this.
Okay.
And since it's you can always attend, they can be invited to attend these meetings.
Yeah, and also, what I think happened was, and I was on council at 2019, and this is a prime example of read all your paperwork thoroughly. I think we wanted at that time a EDAC member to attend the meetings with the CRC and TRC over a certain project, not realizing it already says that in section D, that all you have to do is say, hey, EDAC, send us somebody over. So,
So, to put that on a future meeting, do we just take a poll here to see what city council members would like to do with the edit or to a future meeting?
Public, little discussion. Do you want me to prepare an ordinance? Anyone have an objection to it?
I don't have any objection to it. I just think that Mr. Garrity said there's no urgent need for it, and I think it just needs to fall in line with the other things that you do. Your comment about the fact you don't have anything to do is totally wrong. Okay, so, whenever you can put it in, it's fine with me.
It's better to put it on.
I think so, too. Well, there's people out there that might not think he was joking, so.
Wouldn't it just be an amendment to the ordinance?
Well, yeah, that's all.
That's all,
But
yeah.
It's still an ordinance.
It's not like you're, starting another dictionary.
Go over and type it for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Does
Spell check works.
Does anybody have an objection to removing that? If not, Mr. Smith, if you would work on that, please.
Yes, sir.
Any other committee reports?
Council President,
Go ahead.
this coming Monday, Arts Commission will be meeting here at 6 PM.
Thank you. One of the things that we were trying to do this year is to get out the ordinances to all of the committees that have an ordinance. I know this is somewhat redundant, I said it last meeting, but I do appreciate the mayor going out and swearing people in and having these out there, because we are finding some things that are inconsistent.
I thought I was swearing at them.
You might have been, but
Yeah.
that's okay. All right, so next thing on the agenda, if we don't have any other committee reports, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. And that is for the reorganization meeting minutes of 1/3 and a regular meeting of 1/9 and the executive session meetings of 1/9 approved as content only. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the above-mentioned meeting minutes are approved. Now we're going to move on to ordinance number 1.
Ordinance number 1 of 2025, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1 of 2024, an ordinance of the City of Summers Point, County of Atlantic, New Jersey, establishing the rates, fees, rents, and other charges of the City of Summers Point sewer utility.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Make a motion to open it to the public.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Do we have any comments? If not, looking for public comments?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's have a vote on it. All in favor of ordinance number 1? Let's have a motion first, please.
I'll make that motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Ordinance number 1 is adopted. Ordinance number 2.
Ordinance number 2 of 2025, an ordinance repealing Article 2 of Chapter 34 of the Code of the City of Summers Point.
Asking for a motion to open it to the public for comment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You are now open for public comment.
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Not hearing any comments. Ordinance number 2 is adopted.
You got to call for
We have to
I'm
say
sorry.
Take a vote.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
aye.
Any opposed? No. The motion is adopted, the ordinance is adopted. Thank you. Number 3?
Ordinance number 3 of 2025, an ordinance amending Chapter 100, Construction Codes, Uniform, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 100-3, Fees of the Code of the City of Summers Point.
This is the first reading, so there's no public comment. I'm asking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Second.
Any comments? Try to do it right this time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Ordinance number 3 is introduced. As it relates to resolutions, before I go on here, we will be going to an executive session tonight, and when we come out, there will be 2 resolutions that we might take action on, so I just want to let the public know that. So First off, and I ask for a motion to open for public comment.
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, we're opening to the public for resolutions only.
I need to have the clock, otherwise I'll go on forever, as so many of you know. Good evening, council. My name is Levi Fox. I live at 90 Broadway. I have lived in Summers Point for all 44 years of my life, and I think probably fair to say that I know all of you. I could probably do this without the mic. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So, you all know me, I hope, to be a truthful person. I have facts to share in case you have been lied to. There are, in fact, still 9 families that remain at 90 Broadway. Of these, I know 4 have gotten offers to stay until May 31st without rent and various inducements to leave. I know that 2 people at least are waiting for any kind of written offer. And so there are, in fact, to my knowledge, no one who's actually confirmed that they're going to be leaving. But that's not what I really want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about the 4 folks that haven't gotten these offers, that have instead gotten threats. What about Bob, an elderly veteran? Talked a lot about veterans this evening, I think importantly. And Allison, his caretaker. Earlier today, she cried to me as she told me about the way they had been treated. Last Thursday, a landlord showed up with 2 hired goons and sledgehammers, breaking into apartments that they thought might be empty, and telling her that she had to be out in a week, telling her they were squatters and that he would call the police. No one has ever received any kind of legal document, only threats and bullying and now violence, and now destruction of property as an attempt to push people out. I know they're not squatters because when everyone received a letter last September saying they had to be out by December 31st, for some reason, it had Bob's name on it. They recognized then that he lived there, but are now trying to claim, despite the documentation showing that they are lying, that in fact this is not the case. They're trying to bully people out who do not know their rights. Allison told me that she paid her last $500 for a week at a motel so that Bob would be safe, would not be kicked out in the snow and the ice. This is a veteran. I believe that council exists to protect citizens like these. And what about Lisa, who lives in the same building and is a crossing guard? And Sue, who has tried to pay her back rent and has been refused. John Bowles, the current landlord, told me that the November and December offer was meant heartily and now is refusing to honor it. So, I ask you to consider Joe, who works at Acme and has tried to pay his back rent as well, and I urge council to consider the plight of our needy citizens and not to enter into any deals that would make it easier for them to evict people. Please force them to follow the law and give us our day in court to go through the legal process that we are guaranteed as citizens of Summers Point. And as we talk so much tonight about needing more housing, I know it's a key topic, please make it clear that any redevelopment project on that site needs to have several units of affordable housing. And I thank you very much for your time and patience.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any other comments? Not seeing any other comments or hearing any other comments, may I have a motion to close?
I'll make that motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public comments are now closed on resolutions. Resolution number 54.
Resolution number 54 of 2025, recognizing the Summers Point Board of Education. Whereas the direction of public education in New Jersey is chartered locally by individual school boards whose 5,000 members serve as advocates for public education as they work with administrators, teachers, parents, and local residents. And whereas boards of education provide accountability to the public, they communicate the needs of the school district to the community, and they convey to school administrators the public's expectations for the school district. And whereas the current members of the Summers Point Board of Education listed below receive no remuneration for their services, and Stacy Endicott, Board President, Kathleen Dalton, Judson Moore, Karen Tomasello, John Conover, Emerald Hornig, Alice Myers, Nicholas Wagner. Whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Summers Point are justly proud of the academic, athletic, and social achievements of the students in our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of Summers Point does hereby commend the service of the Summers Point Board of Education and its members to our community and its children. And be it further resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of Summers Point proclaims January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month in Summers Point and urges all citizens to join in recognizing the dedication of the Summers Point Board of Education members, past and present, as we work together to advance educational opportunities for our children.
May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, Council President, I would just like to thank the members of the board for the time that they put in. They serve for the citizens, but also the children of this community, and I think they do an excellent job in representing both. And I just appreciate everything that all of these board members do. And I'd also like to point out that two of those board members are also police officers in town, and therefore, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're protecting the citizens and also serving on the school board, protecting the taxpayers and the children of our community. Thank you.
We also have a city employee who's here tonight.
Oh, yes.
Who's on the school board now.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Thank
I'm
you for your
sorry.
service.
A brand new school board member.
That's
so
right.
Congratulations on that, and like Mr. Habercorn said, appreciate you stepping up.
Any other comments?
I would just like to thank, listen, this, as Emmy's finding out, it's a thankless job, you know? No compensation other than the satisfaction knowing that you are helping the children, you know? I think that the board is a good board. It's a very diverse, people from different backgrounds coming together, trying to help mold the future minds and hopefully the future mayor very shortly, I hope. But it is an important role, and I want to thank you, and as I told you today after you found out, congratulations.
Why don't you come up, I'll hand you one. Why don't you come down, Colonel?
Always pick the guy with the
Somebody
bad knee.
Get a picture. Steve, how about a picture? Hey, Mr. Habercorn. Mr. Habercorn.
You're a celebrity now.
There you go. Famous.
Mr. Habercorn, you might want to give her one of the formal ones as opposed to that. In the folder there.
Come down, help their council.
Are we gonna give more?
There's more. These new guys.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
let him do it.
All right, any more comments? No? Okay, let's see. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Resolution number 54 is approved. Resolution 55.
Resolution number 55 of 2025, authorizing executive session. Advice of counsel and attorney-client privileged communication regarding the status of and potential litigation arising from affordable housing obligations imposed upon the city by the Fair Share Housing Center.
I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
have a second?
Second.
Any comments?
Are we waiting till after executive session for this one?
This is the executive session one.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Any other comments? Okay, not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. The resolution number 55 is approved. Resolution number 56.
Resolution number 56 of 2025, authorizing executive session. Advice of counsel and attorney-client communication regarding the status of litigation involving the city and its zoning board entitled Garden State Outdoor LLC versus City of Summers Point Zoning Board, having a docket number of ATL-L-143-23.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a
Second.
Any comments? Not hearing any comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Resolution number 56 is approved. Resolution number 57.
Resolution number 57 of 2025, authorizing executive session. Advice of counsel and attorney-client privilege communication regarding the status of potential development negotiations involving contract purchasers of 90 Broadway in the city of Summers Point.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Mr. President, I have a comment.
Yes.
Status of potential development negotiations.
Yes.
Does it have to do with this escrow agreement?
Yes, to hold the escrow agreement.
Why does the escrow agreement say redevelopment plan? This says redevelopment, this says development. Shouldn't this say redevelopment negotiations? Because that's actually what this says.
That's my mistake.
Okay.
Escrow agreement should say potential development, that's all.
The escrow agreement should say potential development?
Yes.
Okay, so the resolution is correct.
The resolution's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other comments on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
One no. Resolution number 57 is approved. Okay, we're going to hold number 58 until after executive session. And we're going to hold number 59 until after executive session. So now, number 60.
Resolution number 60 of 2025, resolution authorizing the 2025 invoice for annual service charge to Summers Point Preservation LP and its affiliates.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? Not hearing any comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Resolution number 60 is approved. Resolution number 61.
Resolution number 61 of 2025, authorizing Green Acres application for the bike path improvements.
May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? Not hearing any comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Number 61 is approved. Number 62.
Resolution number 62 of 2025, authorizing Green Acres application for the JFK Inclusive Playground.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Thank you, sir.
Did I hear a second?
Yes, sir, second.
Any comments? Not hearing any comments. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. Number 62 is approved. Moving on to old business. Does anybody have any old business they'd like to discuss?
Mr. Chairman, I have one more thing for Mr. Smith regarding our shopping cart ordinance. In our shopping cart ordinance, it says if you have an abandoned shopping cart laying anywhere in the property, then you notify the owner if it has a name on it and everything. And they have up to 3 days to get it. The only way you can immediately pick up a shopping cart is if it's laying in the street. So I'm proposing that it should read street, bike path, recreational areas, and any public right-of-ways, because I see them, they're always on sidewalks, they're on the bike path, you know, and they sit there for days before either the vendor picks them up or our people pick them up. I think if it's anywhere in those areas, it should immediately be picked up, and, because it's unsightly, doesn't look good. We have a beautiful bike path. It's a minor change to the ordinance, and might give our guys a little more freedom on getting rid of some of these shopping carts. So I would like to have some support on that. Would you support me on that, Mike?
Sure.
How about you, Sean?
Yes, sir.
All right, I only need one more. There goes Howard Sands. There's 4 people. Janice is in.
Mr. Smith would like to make...
Ricky's not, so I have, oh, okay, because I was thinking maybe Ricky had left a shopping cart down on Bay Avenue a couple times.
Mr. Garrity, if I may,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith would like to make a comment.
Yeah.
This is one of those ordinances that's statutorily created.
Yeah.
In other words, so I'll have to go back and read the statute to see what we were allowed.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
may be what was allowed.
Just fine tune it. That's
I think you'll find that we can put it anywhere public right-of-way in there, because I've read the statute too, although I never passed the bar. I've always gone in.
That's a big passage bar.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I think, Mr. Smith, from what I hear, there's support for Mr. Garrity, but we need to confirm that the support for Mr. Garrity is going to fit within the statute. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you are going to do that work for us to make
Yes,
sure?
I have.
Okay, is everybody pretty much what they heard up here? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other old business? Not hearing any other old business, I'd like to move on to new business where we're asking for approval of a fair permit application for Cornhole Craze, an event on February 1st and 2nd, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And the other one is for an approval of a fair permit for Robert Johnson Post 2189 VFW for an event on March 1st, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
motion for both.
Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed, as long as the paperwork is in order. It is in order, so that is approved. Discussion of the bills, Mr. Frost.
Certainly, this evening we have a bill list in $2,801,545.17. In addition to a record payment of $65,191.15.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Frost on that? Not hearing any. I may have a motion for opening to the public for comments.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed, so we are now open for public comment.
My name is Patricia Pearson, 587 Marks Road. The green lights in front of the construction office have gotten so much compliments this year. That is absolutely an outstanding area with the green lights, the historic, the little church, City Hall, and the Hyatts. That area has made Summers Point look excellent, excellent. And so many people have told me that I wanted to mention it here. The other thing is, we owe I guess a vote of thanks or something to Greg Sikora, Timmy the Tree Man, Rob Hopkins for the lights on the mansion. They put lights up for the farm market and different events and decided that it was better to leave them up there because it was so dark. You have no idea, unless you sit there like I can see it, how many people walk along that brick wall at night, all dark clothing, all dark, walking up to get the bus stop at where George Roberts used to be. That's a long bus stop for people that work down on the Circle and whatever. So anyhow, The lights at the mansion, the lights at City Hall are excellent. It's good for the city, and I'm glad they're there. The other thing is the beach concert. It's coming up next meeting, right? Whatever, for the contracts or whatever. How do we tell the people? How do the people know that they might not have a beach concert next year? How are they going to know that? There's not very much news out about it, and nobody's being really informed on it. Maybe one of you people could go on the radio and say that you're having a problem, that you want to sign up, whatever you want to do. You should be, in all fairness, you should give out more information about this before, because there's a chance that somebody else will outbid. So people have to know that, I think. The other thing is, I'd like you to call the sheriff, Joe O'Donoghue. I know some of you must have heard it. He was on the radio today on Ann Baker. He sounded upset, rightfully so. There's bullying going on in these schools, and it's very hurtful. And he explained it. And I think it's our duty to get him to come here, tell you what it was about, and see if you want to send a letter or whatever. It had to do with, you know, the legals that you put in the paper, who owes what or who did this for after the court. When the court case is done, they write it up and they put it in the newspaper. Okay. Somebody's name is Smith, Tom Smith. Oh, I'm sorry, John Smith. I didn't mean to say that. And I'm sorry, John Jones.
Just tonight.
And then the article in the paper was John Jones. And the kid goes into school, and somebody says, "Hey, your old man's this, and this," and he says, "It wasn't my old man." And the bullying starts. So this is ridiculous in a way, but serious in another way. I like you to ask the sheriff to come and tell how it is or what his story is. I heard it on the radio, but I can't do it word for word. And we'll see where that goes. That's kind of important for young people and bullying. And I'm not any big advocate, but I don't like it when kids go to school and somebody's giving them a hard time. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Gary Papachuk. Just my contact information. I brought up a safety concern about the sidewalks at...
I owe you a call. Yes, I do.
Okay. That's the safety concern at the path at Maryland and Groveland Avenues.
I knew there was someone I missed.
Do I need to go through it, or?
No, because matter of fact, I did,
Okay.
after I talked to you, I did talk to Greg Schneider. He's talking about having some additional sidewalk put in on Maryland Avenue.
One at Maryland and two at Groveland.
Right, and I believe I did contact you,
We did
and
receive the grant, yep.
And we what?
We did receive the grant for that. and
For that.
We're starting the process. Fortunately, it is a process because it's a federal grant.
Okay. I just didn't hear from anybody. So.
No, listen, I apologize.
Okay.
Listen, I dropped the ball
Appreciate
on
it. Thank
that
you.
Hey, Greg, are you covering for the mayor?
No, he's not.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Listen.
Want to make sure you don't,
I don't ask anyone to cover for me, pal, you know that.
Yeah.
No, that was me. I
Thank you very
apologize.
much for coming.
Sorry, Gary.
and Doing that. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Not seeing any. May I have a motion to close, please?
Motion to close the public portion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. The public portion is now closed. Payment of the bills. Am I going to ask for a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'm going to second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any opposed. We'll pay the bills, Mr. Frost. Let's see, any other comments from the governing body? Not hearing any. We are going to go into executive session, as I said earlier. not sure how long that's going to take, but anybody that wants to stay is more than welcome to stay on the lobby, and we'll come get you after the executive session. We're likely to take action after the executive session on the two resolutions that we're holding, but thank you.
We off?